All right, we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Love Bay Afrobeat Music Talk Radio. I feel like I have to make this notion real quick. So, for those who do not know me, my name is Shon Williams. A little couple of facts about me: I'm 24. I'm very young, from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And this right here is the safe room. Now, for those who have been watching me, you've probably been asking, Shon, where have you been? You've kind of just gone off the grid. I took a little bit of a hiatus just to get myself right. I wanted to just reset and, take some time for myself. And for anyone who's listening, if you're an entrepreneur, business owner, whether you work at 9 to 5, or even if you have something you want to pursue, definitely take time for yourself. Take time to just be grateful for everything you've done. Don't always feel so pessimistic about things. And if you need to take that break, tell yourself to take that break. I know that's not the typical intro we usually do on the safe room, so let me rewind. Let's lock in again. Ladies and gentlemen, you are tuned in to the safe room, a safe space for entrepreneurs and business owners here in Toronto. And ladies and gentlemen, look, I thought, okay, we're coming back. It's our first conversation since November of last year. And we had to come back with a bang. Pun intended. We had to come
Ooh.
back with a bang. So, ladies and gentlemen, this wonderful, wonderful woman right in front of me. Let me just tell you exactly what she does. I'm telling you, you're about to be blown away, okay? My guest at the moment, Shevonne Chin, she doesn't follow industry trends. She ignites them. I feel like I need a little like sound effect with the da 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 because what a strong statement to start. She is known as Canada's first woman swarm drone pilot. Shevonne is a powerhouse, triple certified in pyrotechnics, fireworks, and a licensed drone pilot, disrupting the advertising industry with innovation that takes brands to new heights. Listen, when I tell you we're about to get into it and we're about to give my guest here, Shevonne, all the love and praise, y'all better get ready. The glazing might be at like 100% today, but it is what it is. So, ladies and gentlemen, here on the Safe Room today, we have Shevonne. Shevonne, how are you doing?
Hello, good night, everybody. I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me as your first guest.
Yes, first guest of the year. It's crazy to say because usually I would have been tapped in. I probably would have had like 20 of these already, but this is the first one of the year, so I'm happy that it's you, Siobhan.
Well, I'm happy that you did take the time off because it is needed. Last year, 2024, I did a lot of that me time. My New Year's resolution was to get in as many trips as I could, and I think I got in 8 trips last year.
Okay, that's
So there was a
honestly
lot of, making up for the time that I was so gung ho on what I was doing.
that's good for you. Honestly, I need to take your little advice and go on a trip because like I've been stuck in Canada for I don't know how long at this point. I don't know. It's the last trip for me.
You need a beach, so the sun and the sand seem to fix a lot of things.
Definitely, definitely. Well, again, for anyone listening out there, definitely take that time, take that break. But again, I'm glad to be back, and I'm glad that you're the first guest here for the safe room in 2025. So, like I said, we had to come back with a bang, and you're gonna understand why I said that at the beginning because we're gonna get into the details of everything. But before we get into the meat and potatoes, the main questions, ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to say this because it's been 6 months since I've said this. Ladies and gentlemen, you know what we have to start with. It's the opening segment of the show. Say it with me now. The hot seat. Yes, we
Mhm.
are first one of the year. And listen, I had to come a little strong with this one. I had to come spicy with it. You know what it is.
I'm
Um,
ready for it.
yes, I'm seeing the comment section. Shout out to sis. Shout out to my sister showing the love. Yeah, we back. We back on the air. You love to see. You love to see. Anyway, let me compose myself. Let me get back into my just serious battle. Okay. So, Siobhan, I have 4 questions and I just want you to answer them to your best abilities, okay?
Okay.
Okay, perfect. So, question number 1. Outside of the work that you do, tell me something about yourself in one sentence.
I went to school for accounting and payroll.
Okay, I did not know that. Hold on, I think you need to elaborate a little bit more. I smell a story.
Well, I figured that, money is where everybody needs money. And being paid is, the one day that everybody looks forward to. So being in the position to pay people, you're usually the person who makes people happy, unless their paycheck is messed up. Usually, when a company is hiring, they or any business, you're first told to hire an accountant and a lawyer. After that, usually is payroll, somebody to manage your employees' pay. And traditionally, in a company, big or small, payroll is the last company or the last part of the business to leave. So even when you're doing layoffs, it's the payroll department that has to lay everybody off. So they're the last ones to leave the building. So it was a very secure position. I figured amongst big companies and small companies that everybody needs to get paid in every business.
I like that. I really that I mean that's 100% true. It's funny you mentioned like everyone needs money because I was having a conversation earlier on today how like I feel like a lot of us need money, but I want to like I'm not trying to play devil's advocate, but it's like I also feel like there are times like when we offer maybe a favor from someone, the immediate response is like compensation. And although I think some situations kind of lean towards like, okay, yeah, this person should be compensated. I think a lot of times we think of compensation just always in monetary and not just like, hey, like I can do another favor for you, or like, do you need like an endorsement or like a shout out? Everyone just thinks like, oh, you need me to do this? All right, where's my bread? Where's the? I need the green. I need the cha-ching. But it's like, why does it always lean to that? So I mean, that's something I just wanted to point out. But I do find that very interesting. You know how the way you broke it down that the payroll department that's like it's like the last front basically. So yeah, so I found that very interesting.
Well, if you think about it, it's one thing when you're an entrepreneur, right? So I agree with you. There's a lot of things that you can do in kind. I can post something on my network for you. I can show up at your event. I can like, comment, and share your posts. That's one thing. But when you work your 40 hours, you want to get paid at the end of the week. You know what I mean? There's no if, ads, or buts about it. So money is important for everybody, big and small. Whether you're saving it or spending it, we all need it.
Yeah, absolutely true. For everyone listening, y'all let us know in the comments. Let us know what you guys think. But going on to the second question, this one's where like the spiciness kicks in a little bit. So, what is the best display of fireworks or even aerial advertising outside of your work that you've ever laid eyes on? Because I didn't want to just say like, okay, the best fire display or like aerial advertising you ever see. You're like, oh, of course we shot. Like, no, 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 no. Outside of your work.
Okay, so outside of myself, I haven't got there yet, but they're on my bucket list. Australia has a phenomenal New Year's Eve. Phenomenal New Year's Eve. It's renowned across the world for their fireworks. So I'd like to get there at some point in my life. And then, of course, China. China is the mecca of fireworks. So they have major fireworks competition. They have fireworks as big as 6 meters wide that go up in one boom.
Wow.
So definitely those are the top two on my list.
Wow. That I did not know that either. Man, you're just dropping bombs, just dropping bare facts. I love it. Okay,
There we
so
go.
honestly, I have to ask this, and for anyone listening, don't come after me. But personally, I feel like when it comes to Canada and fireworks,
Mhm.
I don't know. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong like displays, or I'm not in the right places where I get to see all the big fireworks. But it's like it's kind of mid. It's kind of mid. I don't know if you feel the same, and maybe you feel like you can offer a better experience to maybe if the opportunity was open. Let's say like for New Year's Eve, they're looking for like the biggest show. Is that something you're looking to like step up to the plate? Like, yeah, I can do that.
Absolutely. Flick FX is procurement ready. We're big show ready. We go anywhere from small to huge and humongous. So we're here for everything. We say that we have a package for every budget. Whether you want to buy fireworks to do it yourself or you're looking for us to come out and put on the show, there's always something that we can do to help you put on that spectacular finale for your guests.
Yes. You see my sister, she echoes the same sentiment. Canadian fireworks experience needs some work.
We're
It needs
working
a
on it.
little bit of work. We're working on, listen, City of Toronto, if you're listening, whoever the case may be, listen, get Shevonne. I promise you, next thing you know, New Year's Eve will actually feel like New Year's Eve when it comes to the fireworks. I'm just saying.
You know, we bring the fire. It will be kaboom. So for sure. Flick Effects is here to redefine what experiences have been and to really create memories in the sky.
I'm telling you guys, like the amount of bars Shevonne's about to drop in this episode alone, I swear you're gonna think like it's genius. You think it's a decipher of everything. All right. Next question for this hot seat segment. So I want you to tell me an interesting fact that you rarely share about yourself.
Ooh. I finished high school in 2 years instead of 5.
Wait, hold on. Wait, whoa. Oh, Shevonne, could you repeat that one more time?
Yeah. So when I was going to high school way back when, then they had OAC. So high school was 5 years. And me being who I was, my friends were 3 years older than me. So what I did was I fast tracked. So when everybody else was just doing 8 credits per year, I was getting 16 and 20 credits in a year. So I doubled up everything and I got in and out quickly.
Okay, all right, I understand. Because like originally when I heard that, I'm like, is Shevonne low-key a genius or something like that? Like, am I missing something? I mean, maybe that's why she's like so accomplished because she's like, I'm ahead of the game. But like, you know, the way you broke it down, that makes sense. I had to like calm down and come back to earth for a second.
There you go. You know, I'm regular, but I just figured that you needed 30 credits to graduate. They didn't say how you had to get the 30 credits. So the first 2 years I said, or for the first year and a half, I said, okay. And then I went to night school and I went to summer school and I was able to just increase the amount of credits I got in 1 year. So I was able to graduate with everybody else.
So basically you kind of did a little bit of finessing.
Yeah, you know, using the system to my advantage. Tell me what the requirements are. You didn't say how long I had to do it in. So if I doubled it up and used my own time, why not? Why sit there for 5 years when I could do it in 2?
Honestly, we love a finesser here on the safe room. Just like you work smarter, not harder. So I mean, you kind of did work harder because you had to put the extra. You know what I mean. You know what I mean.
A little bit of everything, right?
Yes, absolutely. Okay, going to the final question for this hot seat segment. What is your personal safe room? So what is a safe space? It could be physical, it could be mental, that allows you to be your authentic self.
My favorite place in the world. When I step off the plane in Jamaica, just that first breath of fresh air. It doesn't matter where I am, anywhere on the island, it's just my happy place. So I intern it to be my safe place.
I like that. I like that. Yeah,
And
honestly, there's nothing.
Further. I'll take it one step further. In Jamaica, where my grandmother is from, it's called content. Content meaning happy, right? So I get to go there and I get to go to content and then I get happy. Right.
I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's nothing wrong with like just leaving where you're at to just go explore and travel and just kind of tap out from everything. It's super important for anyone who's looking to just get away from work or any negative energy. You know, we always go through so much stuff. I mean, hence why, you know, I took my break. So
A change of air does wonders. You'd be surprised. So I encourage everybody that, you know, when you can and if you can, get somewhere new and even get somewhere old, because no matter how many times I've been to Jamaica, it's still my favorite place in the world.
Like how much would you say, like on an estimate, how many times you've been to Jamaica?
Last year I went to Jamaica 4 times.
Oh, wow.
I've already been to Jamaica this year. In my life, how many times I've been to Jamaica?
I mean, if you want, I mean, you said that you went there like probably 4 times last year, so it's like I can only imagine how much all time.
Yeah, so it's a lot. I more than I can count, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. I understand. Well, those are all my questions for the hot seat. It's been a
All right,
while, but I'm glad we did that. Just to
all right,
loosen
I
up.
got it. Yeah, I got it.
Yep. Now we're gonna get into the main questions. But yeah, for anyone who's listening, again, you're listening to the Safe Room here on Love Bay Radio. We have our wonderful guest, Shevonne, who listen, we're gonna get into Flip FX. We're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into the just the details of her work, how she got started. I've been able to see Shevonne just grow into this like absolute powerhouse, like I mentioned in the beginning. And I know Shevonne, this was something that this conversation was supposed to happen last year. It's supposed to be like early December, but again, things got pushed back, and now we're here now. But you've been able to do so much in that time period. I know you have a couple of things coming up, and we're definitely going to talk about that. But the
Yeah.
first question I want to ask you is what led you into the world of like aerial advertising or fireworks? Like, just what led you to that, and how are you taking that opportunity to capitalize on everything where you've sort of revolutionized just how brands and companies speak to their audience using your service?
Ooh, that's a big question. All right. So I started out selling fireworks, which I still do. I am the only 24-hour fireworks store in the world. You place your order online and your firework is ready for pickup within 15 minutes. Um, we are we realized that there was a gap in the market in which the traditional fireworks stores were only open holidays and weekends. And we realized that every day is a country celebration. Every day is a cultural celebration. Every day is a birthday, a wedding, an anniversary. The funeral market picked up. So there were so many reasons why people were using fireworks outside of traditional holidays. So we made it available to them when they wanted it, how they wanted it, and that kind of took off. And then one day a customer called and said, well, I don't want to do the fireworks. Can you come out and do it for me? And I was like, uh, so then I looked it up and I figured out how to get licensed, trained, and certified. And I went and got that. So I am the highest trained fireworks supervisor with full endorsements in Canada. I am also authorized to provide training for others to give them certification in fireworks. I then went on to get certified in pyrotechnics. And then came the drones. As we were seeing what was going on in the world and everybody's talking about being environmentally safe and friendly and sustainable and clean tech, I wanted to jump in. And to me, the swarm drones, which I am Canada's first woman swarm drone pilot, when I jumped into the swarm drones, it was to me the cousins to firework. They gave you the entertainment in the sky. They were environmentally friendly, but they gave you a lot more creativity. And then as I saw what people or my competitors were doing with drones, we kind of decided to kind of niche down more into the advertising aspect of it.
Yeah, that's amazing. Like, the fact that you were able to pivot on so many different occasions just goes to show that you're always trying to reinvent the identity of Flick FX and just keep building and building and building. That's amazing. Again, there's a lot of people who will, they'll buy fireworks for like again a special occasion, and sometimes there are people who will, I don't know how to describe it. It's like I hear fireworks and immediately I think gunshots. But I think outside of all that misconception, I don't realize how much work and how much effort that goes into stuff like this. So, I mean, how would you say the process as a whole, how has it been? Eventually someone reached out to you and said, hey, like, Shevonne, do you think you could do this for me? And just to say, you know what, let me just get a license. Let me just do this, boom, boom, bow. And now just like, how did
Well,
that adjustment happen?
it definitely was a process. And when I got out there into the field and I saw who was out there and I realized that there was zero representation, it just made me really want to bust it wide open, so to speak, and really kind of shout from the rooftop saying, hey, nobody's here, can we all run, get a busload, let's all get here. And so that's kind of been my mandate, to really show people that fireworks is very lucrative industry. It goes across many different industries, from movies to personal to weddings to celebrations to movie sets, and then there's the concerts. So there's so many uses for fireworks, whether it's personally and professionally. And so I was just amazed at what the customers were telling me they were using fireworks for. And then as I got into the professional settings and I started to do the apprenticeship and then became a supervisor, it really changed the landscape of really understanding how much goes into setting up a professional show. I say that I'm right now where tech and trade intersect, with trade being the fireworks. Most people don't think of fireworks as a trade, they think of plumbing, electricians, and contractors. But the work that goes into setting up a professional show, you have to do engineering, you have to, the sciences in the fireworks, the chemicals that are being used. The engineering is in, you have to know your trajectory, your math has to be on so that your fallout is right, you're not hitting your clients. So there's a lot of behind the scenes that's involved in being safe with fireworks. You're dealing with explosives. So that really sparked to me, and then getting really into being able to train others. So when I realized that that was also a gap, and I'm saying, okay, well, how do we get more people into this? They need to be trained. Okay, so how do we train them? So I went in and said, okay, I want to become a licensed trainer in this industry.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it does sound like a lot of work. So I just want to ask as a follow up, like, do you have a team that's like, you have like some type of like structure? There's like this orchestration. I mean, you're kind of smiling, so I don't know if like I'm gonna hear a yes from that. So I'm like,
Well, for me, because I'm a smaller business, I have contractors. So what, and not even just me, everybody, particularly in Ontario right now, who has a fireworks company that does it professionally, typically in their own core organization, they'll have maybe 3 to 5 people, and depending upon the show, you'll bring in contractors to help you. So, for instance, I've been called on to work shows at Toronto, in Trenton. They have a big waterfront show that's done every year. 25,000 people, they gather on the waterfront to see the show. One of my colleagues, it's their show, but because it's so massive, you have to bring on skilled work and skilled help. So, you'll go out and you'll lend a hand for the day, like you were saying. And you get to the benefit of saying you were a part of this huge production.
Yeah, all right. That's very interesting because, like, I think honestly, the fact that you've been able to establish all these relationships, bringing all these contractors again, there's a high level of communication that needs to be established because if things are going the wrong direction, that could really affect the performance, just how the long term relationship may move afterwards. And like you mentioned, there's so much moving pieces that goes into it, the engineering aspect, the mathematics. I know a lot of people hate doing math, but for something like this, I can see how crucial of an element that would be. So to see all of that, but even just to hear you talk about it and witness just how amazing amount of work you've done, it's really commendable. It's really something that like I can respect, and I know like it must not be easy. It's just like like all it takes is one thing and things can go left. Things can go left. But I respect the fact that you keep working on it. It's not something that's like I'm really good because I'm the only person. So I feel like I can just chill and lay off. And sometimes we get that energy, especially like for me, like I'm a podcaster, but like I'm not the only one. But if I was the only one, I wouldn't try to be like, well, no one else is coming after me. I don't need to try. There's no point. But you are someone that's like, I'm gonna keep doing this. It doesn't matter if I'm number one, number two, or I'm like number 347. Like I want to keep
Well,
breaking
here's the
the
thing, Sean. The
standards.
best thing about what I'm doing and how I work is it's impossible to fill up the sky. So, as many competitors, there could be as many competitors as you want to be. It's impossible to fill up the sky. So, let's go. You understand what I'm saying? And it's a matter of now. It's if there's Burger King, there's McDonald's, there's Wendy's. Each thing has something different about them that draws people loyal to them. So for me, it's really about the service. the end-to-end service where it's a one-stop solution. Typically, in other places, or my competitors, I'm not saying necessarily my colleagues, you get a drone light show, but you don't necessarily get the data. You don't get the service. You just get a show. So with us, we are a one-stop show where you get pre, post, live data, dashboards. There's a lot of interaction where you can see exactly how your audience is interacting with the images that you're producing.
Wow, I love that. That little attention to detail, but taking that extra step, I think that's super important. I feel like a lot of us as entrepreneurs and business owners, we don't think about stuff like that. So this to see you think about it, you're ahead of the curve, Shevonne. You are ahead of the curve. I can definitely say that.
Well, I will say to every entrepreneur, the biggest tip that I got from the mentors ahead of me is, what sets you apart is value. So how can you give more value?
Yep, that's always a question we need to keep asking ourselves. All right. I want to go a little bit deeper going to the next question. So, again, some of the main skill sets you possess is through your illustrious work. Again, the drones, the fireworks, the pyrotechnics. But what level consideration do you take to make sure all of these are fully cohesive and you're also adding that storytelling element? Because again, it's a lot that has to happen from planning to execution, but also telling a story in the sky as well is something that I think really people appreciate, because again, like you said, you're trying to create memories in the sky, and those are things people will cherish and hold on to moving forward. It's probably one of the few reasons they'll probably go back to you. So how do you try to take all the main skill sets you have, but still having that cohesion with that added storytelling element?
It's so funny that I was looking at my SOPs today. And when I looked at it and I even posted it on my timeline, people were like, what is this? Is this like a flight plan? Because there's just so many dots and so many moving pieces. And I was like, no, it's my SOPs, my standard operating procedures. And it's crazy. Like there is a lot of steps um, to execute. But for me, it's really in understanding, even with fireworks, three typical questions I ask. My first question is, what's the occasion? Tell me about the occasion. Tell me why you're doing this. Tell me why it resonates. Tell me why you need to do it now. The second question I ask is, who's your audience? Who are we trying to target? Is it your family and friends? Is it a large corporation? Are you having a festival? Like, who's the audience that we're targeting? And then finally, what's your budget? So that goes from fireworks right across to drones. Those are my three typical questions that I'll ask. And then we could really start to build from there. If I understand what your occasion is, if it's a wedding for fireworks, it'd be different than if it's a birthday. So a wedding, you're looking for elegance. For a birthday, you're looking for fun, right? So it's a different look in what you're looking for in the sky. For a brand that's doing drones, they're looking for advertising. They want something that's going to get them more views to their website. They want more sales. They're looking for something specific while why they're advertising right now. So in understanding their why and then understanding their who, and then saying, okay, now how much can you afford? Then we can work something out.
Right. Yeah, I think
That way
that's super
you're not
important.
wasting my time and I'm not wasting your time. I know that you've got beer budget, so we're buying beer. We're not trying to buy champagne on beer budget. So, we keep it to what you can afford and we provide you with affordable options.
And I think I've had a previous conversation surrounding that, like what you mentioned, like if you have a beer budget, then we're gonna work with a beer budget. But I've had a conversation in the past where sometimes if we're offering a service to an individual or a partner or a business, whatever the case may be, we tend to do a lot of like switching with our prices. It's like if it's someone that's like of a high clientele and you charge this rate, and it's always been that. But then like if it's a high clientele, you might boost it up, which for some people it says that's not a bad thing, but for others they'll feel like the morale is not there. Just like, I mean, listen, like you're charging 500, but all of a sudden Beyonce walks in the room. Yeah, yeah, I charge like 2K, 2K a show. It's just something like,
Well,
and it's just
here's
like,
Here's the thing, Sean. I'm in fair pricing. Like, and here's my example for that. The same thing is in Jamaica. Like, if I walk into a place and the price is not on the wall, I walk out because then you're able to
Mm.
gamble. Whereas if I walk into in there and I see it on the wall, I know exactly what I'm paying. I fixed that issue in the very beginning. When I started with fireworks, I started selling them. And I remember that I'd come out and people would call me and I'd come out with a whole trunk full of stuff. And then we do a lot of haggling. Oh, well, I've only got this and I only want to pay this. And I was like, no, 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 no. That we're not doing this. So then that's when I reformed it and I said, okay, the prices are now listed on the website. You pre order what you want, you pay for what you want, and then I bring you your order. That way, nobody has an issue. You already know what you're getting, you know what you're paying for. All I have to do is hand you your order. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
I love that little laugh. It's like, thank you, move on, thank you next, just
Yeah, there's
goodbye.
no haggling, there's none of that. So if it's somebody who I understand that they can afford more, what I would typically say is my standard price is X, but I can give you XYZ more value if you pay blah blah blah. So again, it's about increasing the value so that for me most of the time I as again I end with what's your price or what can you can afford or what my price is, because by the time I've walked you through your occasion, and I've given you your audience and I've put that picture in your mind, it doesn't matter what price I give you, you want what you've envisioned. So if you can make them want something that they don't even have, then it doesn't matter what your price is. They're going to figure out how to pay for it.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think for anyone listening, it is important to just again the like fair pricing is. I feel like everyone should adopt at one point. And I learned the hard way that when I used to just bring stuff and then I realized, oh wait a minute, like this is too much. This is too much for me. This is too much for them. And like, I'm just making the process hard for both of us. So I had to learn to step back, reassess the situation. So, like you mentioned, Shevonne, it's just making things easier for yourself in terms of like just the sales process and you're also being a good negotiator too. I think that's super important because again, if it's like, okay, these are my standard prices, but if that doesn't work with your budget, then for this, it's like you get value A, value B, value C, and that at least it's something you want to share with your clients. Because then if you say, "Oh well, I can't really provide you this because your budget's like maybe too low or it doesn't meet the standards," and then if you come off like that, it just kind of feels.
Here's what I say. I'm a mom, and for me, I love fireworks. And my cheapest fireworks is $5. So if you come to me with $5, you can get something. I'm not saying it's going to be the best thing, and I'm not saying it's going to be kabam bam bam, but you'll get something that'll at least make you say, "Wow, it went into the sky." You understand what I'm saying? And if you come to me and say, okay, I've got kids, I've got $20, what can you do for me? I could put together a $20 budget. You understand what I'm saying in terms of fireworks, for personal use. So I'm reasonable in understanding that typically when you're looking at fireworks from my competitor, your professional fireworks are between $2,000 and $4,000 a minute, depending upon the veracity of it, right? So when you're saying $2,000 a minute, you're saying, pardon? But
Who got that money?
you have to think about, I have to get permits, I have to get insurance, I have to actually buy the fireworks that are expensive. So when you're thinking about these shows, so then you're saying, okay, Shevonne, well, I only have X, and I could say, okay, so maybe we could do not a razzle dazzle, we can do a boom bang. You know what I mean? So it really depends on what you're trying to achieve and what you can afford.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, again, if you are tuning in, this is the Safe Room here on Love Bay Radio with our fabulous guest Shevonne, the founder of Flick FX. We have had a really good conversation, getting into just the details of Shevonne's work, and I want to continue on going to the next question. So, you did sort of talk about it, but I kind of want to go a little bit deeper. did you have any experience in advertising, just advertising in general, that wasn't really related to the work that you did? Like, was there any experience of advertising outside of Flip Flip? She's like, Shon, you gonna really ask me that question right now? You're gonna ask me that question right now?
No, I started out in payroll. I started out in payroll, and I was doing payroll for years. After payroll, I started a restaurant. My cousin and I had a restaurant, or have he still has the restaurant, and I left the restaurant to start Flick FX. So there was no
Okay.
advertising anywhere in my anything really.
Did you have a feeling you were gonna be like really good at it, or was it just one of those like, hey, we ball, we get in there, we ball?
Well, this is it. I'm like, I was saying something to somebody yesterday, and I was like, I don't know how to sit on an idea. And they were like, yeah, well, I need to think about it. And I said, I appreciate that. I appreciate you that that's your process. But for me, while you're thinking, I've already got it done. So,
Mm,
I'm that person that I see it. Especially if I envision it, I see it, I put it into action, and it's done. It may not work the first
yeah,
time, but then it gives me the room to make adjustments and try again. But I can't sit and think about it. I have to work on it while I'm thinking about it.
yeah, definitely. You're sort of like a go getter in a way. It's like if I see it, I just gotta go and do
I,
it.
I know no other way.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of people like myself. Like I'm very persistent too. If I want to do something, it's like I want to do it the way that I envision. And sometimes, for anyone who has that type of mentality, it's good. But it's also making sure, like, you're not pushing yourself too hard if things just doesn't go one way. I mean, it's not to say that you can't break it, that stigma, like, oh no, I can't do it. I can do it. But it's also like, don't kill yourself. That's all I'm saying. Don't kill yourself doing it. Trying to do it.
Absolutely. And for a lot of people, it's scary. It scares the heck out of them. You hear, what do you mean? What do you mean? You just said it yesterday. Like, how did you already do it? I'm saying, it's a process, and it's not for everybody. It's me. I have this sense of urgency, and I'm very impatient, and I hate to wait. So these are the things that will irritate the heck out of me. So while I'm sitting there thinking about it, it's like, oh my gosh, why am I not doing it?
It's like, so like Siobhan's out of the bed and just like, I got this idea. Yeah, guys, I'm gonna have to leave. I'm sorry for like halfway through this idea. We gotta click in. We gotta clock in.
But you've seen me leave a lot of events just like that, because I'm like,
Oh
okay,
yeah.
I got what I needed. I met who I needed. They put the right thing in my ear, and I'm out. And that's just, and it's so funny because it happened to me. Somebody was saying something about something, and like, oh, Shevonne, and then I went and I actioned it, and then by the time I came back, it was like exactly what I needed. And if I didn't action it in that exact moment, I wouldn't be. So for me, I don't know, that hesitation, it for me, it would drive me insane. I understand it's somebody else's process, so I don't knock somebody else's process. It's just, my urgency is now. If you're not going to give it to me now, then don't give it to me. And if it's no, tell me no now. Don't have me sitting down waiting to tell me no. Tell me no now.
Yeah. Honestly, now I see the correlation where you say like, yeah, I just need to get stuff done, and I understand now why you go to Jamaica like 4 times a year, because it's like as much as I think I need to take some time off. So like,
Yeah.
I completely understand. Okay, okay. I want to go on to the next question. Actually, I did have a follow-up question. So you did mention you had no experience in advertising. The
Mhm.
question I want to ask, if you did, like, were there any techniques that you kind of picked up that you put into your work? But I'll try to flip the question a bit. So since you had no experience in advertising, what were some techniques earlier on that you did pick up that you used to like help with your work, make sure that you were pushing yourself, pushing your brand out?
I got into a lot of accelerators. So I really had to understand this entrepreneur. Like, I was doing business, but I didn't. I was just doing things. I didn't know why I was doing it. It was just a matter of fact. This needed to get done. So when I took a step back now and started Flick FX after leaving the restaurant, I said, okay, I want to build this from the ground up. Like, how does it start? And I started just networking, going on Eventbrite and saying, what's the networking? And then slowly but surely, you know, you start to meet your people, and then you build a little, oh, hey, girl, hey, Sean, hey. You know what I mean? And then, after you see people a few times, it becomes a little bit easier. And then, you kind of, now you're in this loop where this is happening and people are saying, come to this and you should be here. So I didn't know what it was. I started in at the very beginning, and all I could do was jump. And if I had sat and thought about it, I probably wouldn't be where I am. And 2 years in, look at what I've done.
Yeah, yeah, I totally understand. It's kind of going out your way to see what's out there, how you can continue to grow. And you mentioned Eventbrite. That's like the number one spot for anyone. It's like, I don't know what to do. I'm just gonna type instead event or said workshop so I can figure out how to do it perfectly, which it's perfect in anyone who's looking to get started. I
Yeah,
mean,
and
and
then through that, I started to sign up for the accelerators. I did the CBCC. I did the Canadian Women Chambers of Commerce. I was with the World Trade Center. So there's all these different programs that, depending upon what you're trying to do, are you scaling? Are you in ideation? Are you in growth? That could help you understand where you are and then give you the tools. When I got into Growth Reel, that was, it really gave me uh, a bird's eye of the different segments of what people were doing in business that I didn't know. And it's not that I couldn't do, it's just I just didn't know that this was part of the process. So as I started to learn the language and become familiar with, okay, you need a business model, okay, you need a financial projection, you need cash flow, you need all these different things. And slowly, as I started to learn, okay, what does this mean? And putting them together, here we are.
that's super important. Those are like key pieces for any entrepreneur, and it doesn't matter really about experience or where you're at. You can be 20 years in, and like you're always gonna have to be refining your business model, looking at your financial projections. There's not really a specific criteria, but I think also with taking any workshop that you took in the past or even currently right now, were there times where you felt like, okay, I'm taking this class, accelerator, whatever the case may be, and then I'm seeing all these other people take it and they're talking about what they do. Was there ever a point of imposter syndrome where it's like, man, these people are doing this and this and that? I mean, like I'm building my way, but it's like, I don't
Oh,
know, like
every day. And it's funny because as you're on this process, you'll have some people who are in step with you. You'll have people who are 10 steps ahead of you, and you'll have people who are 10 steps behind you. And then you'll have people who are out horizontal. So they're walking, but they're at the different end of the shore. And I realize that the more I learn, the more I need to learn. The more I know, the more I don't know. So it's never a process. But what I do think that I do or try to do is really share what I learn. I think that that's one thing that a lot of people don't do. And I'm constantly, if you ask Shevonne, uh, me finishing school so early, they used to call me the information system. I had this way of storing knowledge. So people were always asking me questions. Ask Shevonne, it's like the walking encyclopedia. So it's not that I had different knowledge than anybody else, but I had access to different information that I could piece together. And you need this and you need this, and I kind of have a bigger piece of the pie that I could look at and see where I should piece them. So for me, it was always about information, right?
I'm sorry. Like I had to laugh when you said that one of your nicknames was the information. I don't know. Like I love that because like it's a little like traits of yours that
My
people
friend
like
used to call me and
recognize.
say, my friend used to call me and say, my mom called my friend's mom, her name's Keisha. Keisha's mom nicknamed me that. She said, "Call the information system. She will know the answer." And I was like, "What?" But I kind of liked it, right?
I like that too. Like I had like one nickname, not that, but people used to call me the human calculator because like I was very profound when it came to like maths. Like everyone I come on the show, they say they hate maths. Like that wasn't me. Like I was a mathematician back in the day.
Hey Ben, I was too. I think in grade six, I came in second in Ontario. They used to do this math thing. Yeah, math is cool. If you can get math, math is money. And even as a kid, that was my first thing. I was like a do girl. Like at 5 years old, 6 years old, I was the only one that they could send to the store because I could count. Right?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Going on to the next question. What I want to ask you is why do you believe the impact that you're creating, which is creating moments in the sky, speaks so much to your clients? Because I know how much it means to you. You've definitely expressed throughout this conversation. But do you believe the impact that you're creating right now with the work you're doing speaks a lot to your clients? Maybe if you want to share a story you have with a client, how much their just your work impacted them, how they felt about it, you know?
I think that right now when we think about corporations, um, people personally, they're looking to create memories. And I say we create memories in the sky. Corporations are looking to monetize memories. So there's different ways you can look at this, but memories is a key word that kept coming up. So whether you're creating it, whether you're monetizing it, the memory is important. People take memories, they share them, they talk about them, they take pictures of them, and especially if it's an experience that they get interact with. So for me, it was about merging all of this together. When somebody says to me, "Well, Shevonne, what do you do?" I say, "I play in the sky." Well, what does that mean? I create memories in the sky. Well, how do you do that? So it's blending everything. Um, Ask me the question again. I had a good point to make.
Yeah, just like why do you believe in the impact you're doing, which again is creating all these memories in the sky? Why do you think it speaks so much to your clients? That's what I was trying to like
Okay.
ask.
So, I was saying the point I was going to say was on Emancipation Day that I did last year. We did it outside of Downsview TTC station, outside of Downsview Park. That was really impactful in that the storyline. They were really creating a memory. They do the Underground Railroad Freedom Ride. So they start down at Union Station and then they take the train up to Downsview Park Station, and they usually have a ceremony. So last year's ceremony ended with a drone show. We were able to do the map of Africa in the sky, and then it was the map of Canada in the sky, and then there was a crowd walking, and then there was a train and a train track symbolizing Underground Railroad. There was the word joy and peace and unity. So it was really cool to see the responses of the people. They also did a tribute to Louis March, who is the zero gun violence. He had just passed days before we had done the ceremony. So we were able to also commemorate him in the sky. And when we took the feedback and we went out and we talked to the people who actually watched the show, they were so amazed, and they were so, their impact and how their sentiment was really what touched me. So I was happy to see how it impacted them.
That's great to hear. Yeah, I can only imagine just how much planning that probably took to get everything done. It must have been like just days and weeks and like that's a follow-up question I want to ask. Like roughly would you say how long would it take for you to work with maybe someone to do a drone show regardless of like how daunting the event or situation may be?
I say it takes anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks, minimum four, and four is really at a rush pace. I like the 6 to 8 weeks is really where we can really understand what your story is and really create images that represent what you're trying to say. But typically, I would say 6 to 8 weeks. If you're under 4 weeks, we're under the gun. It can be done, but the pressure is on.
Definitely 100%. Speaking of that, I know that you have a couple things coming up, and one thing that's coming up is International Drone Day. So I think we need to know the details on like what's gonna be happening on May 3rd, Shevonne. Like what's up? What's gonna be happening on that day?
Yeah, so International Drone Day is the first in Canada. We have counterparts across the world. But what we're looking at really, I want to say that it's a summit, it's an expo, it's a convention, it's a conference, it's a little bit of everything. We're all drone enthusiasts, whether you're using it professionally, if you're using it recreationally, if you want to know about drones, if you want to buy a drone, we have several segments where you can learn about drones, the industry standards. We're going to have NAV Canada, Transport Canada, an insurance professional to come in and talk about the insurance regulations regarding drones. We have several topics: women in drones, the future of mobility in drones. So, everything you've ever wanted to know. And then, of course, we're going to have drone vendors. So for those who provide drone services, you'll be able to engage with them. And again, we're still looking for vendors. If you are a drone company who has any kind of drone services, this is a convention for you. Your target market will be all in one building.
All right, perfect. So for anyone who's
May
listening,
3rd, anybody needs tickets, flickfxevents.com.
yes, this will be taking place here in Toronto, at Centennial College, right?
Absolutely.
Yes. So May 3rd, save the date. You definitely would want it. You definitely want to come out to that day because I know I can already smell what Shevonne like. She's probably cooking up something special. She's like, I can't say it yet. It's like this confidential. It's confidential.
I'm excited. I just want the crowd to come out. If you've ever wanted to know anything about a drone, this is a place to be. They have conventions for everything
Mm,
else. They have Comic-Con and they have movie this and that. This is a time to come out. Drones are the future. So if you don't have one
mm-hmm.
now, you will have one at some point. So get in and figure out what they're all about.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Okay. I want to go into a little bit of a role play scenario. It's been a while since I've done this to you guys. Again, it's been 6 months, like roughly around 5 to 6 months. So cut me some slack, guys. If I'm rusty, then I'm rusty. It is what it is. I want to do a little bit of a role play session. So let's say I'm just someone who's coming up to you and I'm looking for like a fireworks show or like a drone show, whatever the case may be. We're gonna kind of do a little bit of like, how's your acting? Is your acting okay?
Hey, we'll try it out.
Okay,
Let's work.
cool. All right, so let's say today I'm not Sean. Let's say I'm somebody else. Let's say I'm Matthew. Okay, that was the first name that came in my head. Matthew. Okay, so
Okay, Matthew.
see, she's already locked in, guys. Let's just get it right. Let's get
Hey,
right to it.
Matthew.
Hi, Shevonne. Hi. So I was scrolling through IG and I saw your page, Flick FX, and it made me realize, you know what? I want to do something special for my birthday. And I heard that you do fireworks, but I don't know much about you. I just want to get to know a little bit more about what you do. Maybe you can help me with my birthday celebration. Again, I want to do some fireworks, but just tell me a little bit more about the work that you do.
Okay, well, hi, Matthew. My name is Shevonne. I am Canada's first woman swarm drone pilot. I am triple certified in fireworks, pyrotechnics, and a licensed drone pilot. So, my first question to you, Mr. Matthew, is what kind of a celebration are we having? You said it's your birthday. Is this a private celebration or a public celebration?
This I want to be public. I want to have some of my closest friends and family together. So I definitely want to I want to go big, not too big, but I want to go big.
Okay, so are you looking for fireworks that you would be doing yourself amongst your friends and family? Are you looking for personal use or are you looking for us to come on put the show on for you?
Well, now that you mentioned that, I would really like for you guys to come in because I don't know much about fireworks. The last time I tried doing something like that, I almost set a house on fire. So I want to stay away in that lane. So it would be great if, you would be able to come in and support with that step in that process.
Well, Matthew, I want to tell you that our fireworks are very safe and they're perfect for beginners and first time users. We do offer, safety tips and user guides on how to use them. So that is always an option. Now, if you want us to come out and do the show for you, the process is a little bit different. First, we need to get insurance for the date, we need to secure a permit, and then we need to make sure that the venue is okay with having fireworks. Is it a private venue or is it a public venue? Like, will you be having it at
Um,
home or will you be having it on a private or public property?
I was thinking a public property. I mean, I didn't want to pick like such a large location, like something very simple, like maybe I don't know. It's like a bowling alley where I'm at. I like to do bowling, and they have like this very large amount of open space. So it's not like there's a lot of traffic or like pedestrians walking on the sidewalks. Like it's safe. I've been there multiple times. So I'm thinking like a public property in terms of like where I want the fireworks to be displayed.
Okay, so the first question would be is we have to make sure that we can actually do fireworks at the location. The second question is do we need a permit or not? And then if we do need a permit, then insurance will be required. So those three questions are all dependent upon the venue. So we're going to say that the venue says yes and that you're good to go with fireworks. The next step would be that I would call you back and say, okay, we received approval from the venue. Um, and now we are looking to secure your insurance and your permit for the date. So we would
Okay.
secure that. And then now we would talk about what kind of a package are you looking for. So we understand the occasion. And you've told me it's going to be family and friends. But tell me more about the audience. How much people are you anticipating?
I'm anticipating about 20 to 25 people. I want there to be again my closest friends and family. I don't want to go like super big where it's like 100 people. I mean, I don't want to invite people I don't know that well or I don't talk to. So about 20 to 25 people.
Okay, so you're looking for something very intimate. So our next question would be is we usually have three-tier packages. You could have a 3 minute, 5 minute, or a 7 minute package. I typically would suggest a between 3 and 5 minute package.
Okay. I think 5 minutes is good. I don't want it to be where it's like goes on for too long. I think 5 minutes is like the right amount of time.
That's perfect. So what I can do is I will send you an example video of what a 3 and 5 minute show will look like. Based off of that, you can make your decision. We do require 50% deposit to secure your date and to get your permits and insurance started. And the balance is due a week before show.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay, I'm glad I reached out to you now because like, I did not want to wait till the last moment, but that sounds good.
Definitely. And based off of your date being so far away, we do have an option where we can offer you a discount.
Oh, really? Okay, I like that. I really appreciate that.
Yes, for any bookings that are more than 3 months in advance, we do offer them a discount of 10%.
Okay, okay. I'm really glad I did so. If I took maybe like 2 weeks later, I probably would have missed the deadline. So I'm glad I'm here now. So
There you go. So we provide early bird discounts to our customers. There is also a penalty for those who book less than 45 days, which usually takes to get permits. There is an expedition fee. So we do encourage you to get your paperwork in. And once your payment is received, then your date is secured.
okay, that sounds great. Thank you so much. This is really helpful. I think I feel even more confident now for this fireworks show. Again, I didn't want to do this by myself. I felt like I needed to get professional help, but I'm really glad I bumped into your page and then we're having this conversation because I could definitely tell like you are very serious about what you do and I want nothing but the best.
Absolutely. So I will forward an invoice to you and I hope to hear from you soon.
All right. Thank you so much, Shevonne.
Good night, Matthew.
All right. All right. Yes. Honestly, that was perfect. I can feel it. You were locked in. You were locked in from start to finish. We love to see that.
That's me. That's what we do every day. We provide excellent
Mhm.
customer service and we make sure you leave happy.
I love that. I love that. Okay. Well, we're not done yet. So, although we ran through everything, we like to do a little closing activity. This is where we get to have a little bit of fun again. So,
Sure.
today, Siobhan, I want to do a little bit of a fun activity. So, we're going to play a little game called Keep Five and Delete Five. So,
Ooh.
this is gonna be a very interesting one because I know you were talking about earlier on about Australia and China having like the best places for fireworks. I was like, oh man, she's foreshadowing a lot right now because what I'm about to do is I'm going to list off 10 places and it's blind. I'm not gonna list them all at once. It's gonna be like a blind ranking, right? And
Okay.
basically, you have to keep the 5 places that you would like to do a fireworks show, like your own fireworks show. Let's say Flick FX had the opportunity to do a fireworks show or a drone show at these locations. You have to keep 5 that you will be able to do it, but you would also have to delete 5.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Let's
So
talk about
again,
these
the
drone
whole point
shows.
of it,
These drone shows.
yes. So again, this is all blind ranking. So I'm just gonna list out a place, and you just have to tell me, okay, you know what, Cha, I'm gonna keep this one, or like I'm
Okay.
gonna delete it. And remember, you can only keep 5 and delete 5. So let's say we're like 8 picks in, and you've already chose all your keeps, whatever the last 2, like they're delete. And again, I'm not
Okay.
going to be nice where I'm reading everything I want. It's one
Oh,
by one. So you
okay.
don't know what I'm gonna say next.
All right. All right. I like this.
Okay, all right, ladies and gentlemen, let's see how she does. Okay, and I tried to pick like very synonymous places around the world. You know, I didn't try to pick
Okay.
like random spots. Okay, so the first one, Buckingham Palace in London.
Oh, definitely keep
Okay, okay.
that.
Is there
That's
any
deep inside
reason?
my heart. I went to Buckingham Palace for the first time last year. That was one of the places that I got to go to. But somewhere I've always wanted to go. I toured London, like I knew it because I've seen so much of it on TV. So I got to see Big Ben. I got to go Buckingham Palace, Westminster Abbey. So it was absolutely beautiful. Absolutely stay.
Okay, all right, we're starting off strong. Okay, next
Mm.
one, the Grand Palace in Bangkok.
Hmm. I'm gonna pass on that one. That one
Okay.
is yeah. I'm gonna pass on that.
You're kind of saving your options. You're trying to play it
Yeah,
smart.
yeah. You started out strong.
Okay. Okay. All right. Let's go to the next one. How about the Eiffel Tower in Paris?
That's some place that I've got to go, and it's something I've got to do. So that's a definite 1000% stay.
Okay. We're keeping this one. Okay.
Mhm.
Interesting. Okay, so we got 2 keeps so far. 2 keeps, 1 to lead. Next one, the Great Pyramid of Giza in Egypt.
That's a tough one right there, but it's too early to say yes again. Um, I would say yes, but I'm gonna pass for potentially something else.
Okay. We are passing on the Great Pyramid of Giza. Okay. So 2 each. 2 keeps, 2 deletes. What about Mount Fuji in Japan?
I can pass on Fuji.
Okay. Not a fan of Mount Fuji.
Someplace I'd like to get to, but it's not high on my list.
Understandable. Okay. Next one. The Blue Mouse. No, the Blue Mouse in Istanbul.
I can pass on that.
Okay. All right. So I'm just doing my quick math right now. So you have 4 deletes so far.
Mhm.
4 deletes, 2 keeps. Okay, let's see how this goes.
See, the ones that those two keepers resonate deep in my heart. Those other ones are like, okay, that's nice, but they don't have that deep emotional pull yet. Keep going.
Okay. All right. Next one. Statue of Liberty in New York.
Eh.
Remember,
I'm,
this would be your last deletes. I'm just letting you know.
oh.
So whatever if you pick delete, the rest of the 3 are keep.
Oh. That's a very good point. That yeah, I'm gonna pass on Mr. Trump. I'm gonna pass on Mr. Trump, and I'm gonna blindly take the rest. Yeah, I like this game though.
Okay,
Tell me
so
where else I need to go.
okay, so as you can see, Shevonne used all her delete options. So these are the ones she would have kept. So you would have kept the Hollywood sign in Los Angeles.
Good.
Thumbs up.
That's one place I've been.
You would have
That was
kept.
before it burnt down.
Mm-hmm.
That's dear to my heart. I would have said yes there.
Okay. Cool. You would have kept the Las Vegas Strip.
All right, that's good. I've never been there. That's the last
Okay.
one I've never been to. So 2 I've never been to, 2
Oh,
I've been to, and those are the 2 that I would have said yes to anyways. There we go.
we got one more. One more
Okay.
as your final one. And it's Parliament Hill in Ottawa.
I don't mind being a patriot, Team Canada.
All right, all right. Okay,
That's good.
so just to go over again, your keeps were Buckingham Palace, Eiffel Tower, Hollywood sign, Las Vegas Strip, and Parliament Hill. So those are your keeps. And for your deletes, Grand Palace, Great Pyramid of Giza, Mount Fuji, the Blue Mosque, and the Statue of Liberty.
If I had an option to switch out, I would switch Ottawa and the pyramids if I had an option. But I'm good with that. I'm good with my choices.
Okay. All right. All right. Yeah, I mean, listen, it's hard because like all these locations are amazing, but you definitely went with the ones that like they hit home to you, and I understand it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all I have for tonight. So, Shevonne, again, thank you so much for coming on the Safe Room, the first interview of 2025 for us. It was such a pleasure having you. You've been an amazing, amazing guest. And just, again, keep up the good work. Keep up the fantastic work. Guys, I could sit here for another 30 minutes and, like, list out some of the awards and accomplishments Shevonne has. But, again, like, we would be here all night long. Like she has a bunch, but it's amazing to see what you've been able to do.
Just follow me. Keep tapped in. I keep saying, like I say to Nikki all the time, together we are stronger. And follow me. I follow back. I interact. I post and repost and like and share and all these things. I like to pull up and show up. Give me an invite. I like to be invited. And I come out.
Definitely. Yeah, let the people know where they can find you on social media or where they can contact you.
Flick FX, FLIKFX on Instagram, LinkedIn, Shevonne Chin, Google me. I'm everywhere. LinkedIn is probably the best. I'm most active on LinkedIn and Instagram if you're really trying to get at me. But Shon knows how to find me. I'm easy to find. I really am. And if you ever do fireworks for any occasion, make sure that you think of me. When next time you see a firework in the sky, remember, hey, that girl, yep, that's me. I am the fireworks lady. I am the pilot lady. Somebody renamed me the other day. He was like, "You're Captain Chin," and I was like, "Huh, I like that."
Oh my gosh!
Right? So here I am. And as I said, we're friendly. This is a safe room. So, we like to talk, we like to network. So when you see us in person, don't be afraid. Come over and say hi. Right, Sean?
I love that. Yeah, 100%. All right. I appreciate that, Shevonne. Thank you to everyone listening here on Love Bay Radio. If you want to go find me on Instagram, you can find me at the Safe Room Official, or you can check out my personal page at the President of TO. We're back to doing our shows here on Thursdays at 8 p.m. And I'll be back on social media very soon. Listen, I got something cooking up. That's all I'll say. It's a new dawn, new approach. That's all I say.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. And I hope to see everybody. If you come out to International Drone Day, May 3rd, get your tickets now for a chance to win a free drone.
Yes, definitely tap in, get your
Thanks for
tickets now,
listening.
RSVP, of course. And we'll see you guys next time on your favorite show here on Love Bay Radio. We'll talk to you guys next time.